10 things high-functioning anxiety makes you do that you may not even realize. High-functioning anxiety is a real yet overlooked condition. It can be difficult to spot as those suffering may seem outwardly successful and competent. However, high-functioning anxiety can have a major impact on a person's mental and physical well-being, making it important to recognize and understand. In this video, we will be exploring the 10 things that high-functioning anxiety can make you do, often without you realizing it. 1. Planning and over-preparing. If you have high-functioning anxiety, you may find that planning and over-preparing becomes second nature, whether it's studying for an upcoming exam, gathering all the materials you need for a project, or mapping out your schedule for the week. You are likely to put in extra effort to make sure everything goes perfectly. This type of behavior can help you stay organized and on top of things, but it can also become an anxiety-inducing compulsion. You may find yourself double-checking every detail, making sure that nothing slips through the cracks, and striving for perfection in every task. While planning and preparation are important, it's also important to remember to leave room for mistakes and imperfections. When you give yourself permission to not be perfect, you can free yourself from the burden of your anxious thoughts and relax into whatever the task is at hand. 2. Constantly seeking reassurance. For those living with high-functioning anxiety, seeking reassurance can be a way to find momentary relief from the worries and fear that come with the condition. Whether it's about your relationships, career decisions, or anything else, it can be comforting to have someone else provide an outside perspective and tell you that everything is going to be okay. However, this type of reassurance seeking can become excessive and unhealthy if taken too far. People with high-functioning anxiety may find themselves seeking constant reassurance from friends and family members. They might ask questions like, "Do you think I'm doing the right thing?" Or "Do you think I'm making the right decisions?" over and over again. This need for external validation can leave them feeling helpless, as they are constantly relying on others to make them feel better. Additionally, some people may be prone to ruminating over their choices, analyzing every aspect of the decision-making process until they are sure that they have made the right choice. This can be time-consuming and overwhelming, as the person often goes over the same points again and again in an attempt to gain certainty. If you find yourself repeatedly seeking reassurance from others or ruminating over your decisions, it's important to recognize that this is a symptom of your anxiety and can take steps to manage it. Instead of looking outside for validation, try to look within and trust your own judgment. With the right guidance, you can begin to feel more secure in your choices and more at ease in your life. 3. Checking and double-checking. High-functioning anxiety can cause you to feel more compelled to check and double-check things, even when it's not necessary. You may be constantly going over things in your head and making sure that everything is as perfect as possible. This can be a time-consuming process and can often leave you feeling exhausted. If this is something you find yourself doing, it's important to remember that it's okay to take a break and trust that things will be alright without double-checking. 4. Procrastinating. Procrastination is a common side effect of high-functioning anxiety. Whether it's putting off an important project, task, or errand, procrastinating can become a default action when anxiety rears its head. One of the biggest problems with procrastinating due to high-functioning anxiety is that you may not even realize you're doing it. You may find yourself repeatedly making excuses to avoid whatever tasks you're anxious about, or convincing yourself that you need to wait until the last minute. There are several different ways to combat procrastination caused by high-functioning anxiety, including breaking projects into smaller steps, setting realistic deadlines and expectations, and taking breaks to refocus and regroup. It's important to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling and your ability to handle tasks. Working with a therapist or mental health professional can also be beneficial in overcoming procrastination caused by high-functioning anxiety. 5. Always being on. High-functioning anxiety can be hard to recognize, but it often causes us to behave in certain ways without even realizing it. One of the most common behaviors of high-functioning anxiety is a constant feeling of needing to be on, both physically and mentally. This means that your body is always on high alert and you're ready to react to any potential challenge or danger. For instance, if you are at a social gathering, you might find yourself constantly scanning the room for potential threats or stressful interactions. You may also feel a need to monitor your own behavior to make sure you don't make any mistakes or miss anything. This can lead to an overactive sense of awareness that can drain your energy and leave you feeling overwhelmed. Another way high-functioning anxiety can manifest is an internal dialogue that's constantly running in the back of your mind. This dialogue can be filled with critical self-talk that leaves you feeling like you need to do more and be better. These anxious thoughts can add an extra layer of stress to your day-to-day life and can lead to perfectionistic tendencies that are difficult to break out of. High-functioning anxiety can be difficult to identify and even harder to manage, but understanding how it manifests in your own behavior is a great first step in developing healthier coping strategies. If you think that your behavior is being influenced by high-functioning anxiety, take time to recognize when it's happening and remind yourself that it's okay to take a break or to take care of yourself in other ways. This leads us to our sixth point, which is being a perfectionist. High-functioning anxiety can cause you to be a perfectionist. This can make you excessively critical of your own performance and cause you to be overly demanding of yourself. You may strive for perfection in all aspects of life and have difficulty accepting anything less than the highest standard. As a result, you may feel like no matter what you do, it will never be good enough. And this can lead to feelings of self-doubt, inadequacy, and frustration with yourself. Perfectionism can also impede your ability to make decisions, complete tasks, and move on from mistakes. To combat this, it's important to learn to be more accepting of your imperfections and allow yourself to make mistakes. Make sure to give yourself credit for your successes, no matter how small, and remember that it's okay to ask for help if you need it. 7. Saying yes to everything. High-functioning anxiety can often manifest itself in a variety of ways, and one of the most insidious is saying yes to everything. People with high-functioning anxiety may find themselves overcommitting and taking on too much, only to be left feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. This can lead to feelings of guilt, anxiety, and even depression. So what can you do to help manage it? Here are some tips. Set boundaries. It's important to recognize what you can realistically handle and set appropriate limits. Make sure that your boundaries are respected by others. Take time to evaluate requests. If you're presented with an opportunity or request, take some time to think it over before responding. Consider how it will fit into your schedule and if it aligns with your goals. Practice self-care. Taking care of yourself first is essential for managing high-functioning anxiety. Prioritize getting enough rest and relaxation, as well as engaging in activities that bring you joy. Speak up. Be honest about what you need and what you don't have time for. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't be afraid to say so. Learn to say no. It's okay to turn down requests when necessary. You don't have to justify your decisions, simply politely decline the offer. Our 8th point is being a people pleaser. On the surface, being a people pleaser may not seem like a big deal. However, when taken to the extreme, it can have serious negative impacts on your mental and emotional health. For example, you might find yourself saying yes to the things you don't really want to do, overextending yourself, or feeling taken advantage of. One way to address this behavior is to start setting boundaries. This could mean learning how to say no more often, creating healthy distance between yourself and others, or simply taking time to think before committing to something. Being firm and assertive can feel uncomfortable at first, but it will get easier over time. Additionally, if you can identify the root of your people-pleasing tendencies, such as a fear of rejection or insecurity, you can start working towards releasing those feelings and gaining more confidence in yourself. Remember that it's okay to prioritize your own needs and feelings over others. This doesn't make you selfish or uncaring. People-pleasing is an unhealthy habit that can lead to feelings of resentment or burnout. So try to pay attention to when you're doing it, and take steps to break the cycle and reclaim your own power. 9. Avoiding change. When you have high-functioning anxiety, it can be hard to face change. Change can cause intense feelings of fear and uncertainty, and you may find yourself wanting to avoid it at all costs. While it's understandable that you would want to protect yourself from the discomfort associated with change, it's important to understand that facing and managing change is a vital part of life. Fortunately, there are some strategies you can use to help manage your anxiety around change. Here are some tips that may help. Break down large changes into smaller, more manageable steps. This can make change feel less overwhelming and more achievable. Make a list of the pros and cons of making the change. Seeing the possible benefits and also drawbacks of making a change can help you to gain clarity on what it may bring. Connect with supportive people who can provide encouragement and understanding. Reaching out for help can make it easier to cope with stress associated with making a major change. Practice self-care activities such as meditation, journaling, or exercise. Taking care of your mind and body will help you to stay grounded during times of transition. Talk to a mental health professional if necessary. A therapist or counselor can help you to better understand your feelings and develop skills to cope with change in a healthier way. Remember that change is a natural part of life, and while it can be uncomfortable, it can also lead to growth and new opportunities. With the right support and resources, you can learn to manage your anxiety around change and move forward in your life. And that leads us to our last and final point: being a control freak. High-functioning anxiety often causes those affected to become overly controlling. They may try to micromanage situations and take charge of everything around them, in an attempt to reduce their own stress levels. While it's understandable to want to feel in control of our lives, it can lead to over-anxiety and frustration for both the person with high-functioning anxiety and those around them. One way to combat this tendency is to practice mindful acceptance. Acknowledge the feeling of wanting to be in control, but remind yourself that it's okay to let go and allow others to take charge. Instead of worrying about how things will turn out, focus on the present moment and take it one step at a time. Another important step is to learn to recognize and trust your support system. Find people in your life who are willing to help you through difficult times and lean on them for advice. Letting others provide emotional support can help reduce your need for excessive control. Finally, try to make room for flexibility in your daily routine. Acknowledge that sometimes plans don't work out the way you expect and practice allowing yourself to deviate from the script. Take risks and practice adapting to unexpected situations with a sense of openness. These steps may not seem like much, but over time they can help you gain more control over your high-functioning anxiety. Remember, no matter how much you want to be in control, it's okay to relinquish some of that power. Practice accepting what you can't change and focusing on what you can do in the present moment. Thanks a lot for watching the video. If you learned something new, consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss on any important topics.